Today is Sunday, September 3rd, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. President Joe Biden saw from the sky Hurricane Idalia's impact across a swath of Florida before setting out on a walking tour of the city of Live Oak, which is recovering from the storm. Notably absent was any interaction with Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican presidential candidate. DeSantis suggested a meeting could hinder response efforts and did not accompany the Democratic president. Biden's federal disaster chief says her team and the governor's team worked collectively to agree on the area that Biden would visit. The mayor of Live Oak, east of the state capital of Tallahassee, thanked Biden and First Lady Jill Biden for coming and showing us that we're important to you. The wording of a proposed constitutional amendment on Ohio's fall ballot to ensure abortion rights seems straightforward. The ballot measure would enshrine the right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions. Yet, as the campaigning for and against the nation's latest tug-of-war over abortion begins in earnest, this weekend Ohio voters are getting a different message from the measure's opponents. Opponents are characterizing the proposal as threatening a wide range of parental rights. It's no surprise that anti-abortion groups opposed to the amendment are promoting that message, as polls show a strong majority of Ohio voters believe abortion should generally be legal. Margaritaville singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett has died at age 76. A statement on Buffett's official website and social media pages says the singer died Friday, surrounded by his family, friends, music, and dogs. Buffett created beach bum soft rock with an escapist Caribbean flavor song and turned that celebration of loafing into a billion-dollar empire of restaurants, resorts, and frozen concoctions. The song Margaritaville, by far his biggest hit, was released in 1977 and spent 22 weeks in the Billboard Hot 100. It became a seaside standard and inspired generations of fans, known as parrot heads, to celebrate easy living. The impeachment trial of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is going to test the will of Republican senators to punish not only one of their own, but a hard-right firebrand who has driven the state's policymaking for years. Paxton is set to stand trial in the Texas Senate starting Tuesday on charges of bribery and abuse of office. Paxton is just the third official in the state's nearly 200-year history to be impeached. Witnesses called to testify could include Paxton and a woman with whom he acknowledged having an extramarital affair. Bill Richardson, a two-term Democratic governor of New Mexico and a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations who dedicated his post-political career to working to free Americans detained overseas, has died. He was 75. The Richardson Center for Global Engagement, which he founded and led, said in a statement Saturday that he died in his sleep at his home in Chatham, Massachusetts. Before his election in 2002 as governor, Richardson was UN ambassador and energy secretary under President Bill Clinton and served 14 years as a congressman representing northern New Mexico. Richardson also traveled the globe as an unofficial diplomatic troubleshooter, negotiating the release of hostages and American servicemen from North Korea, Iraq, Cuba, and Sudan. Hundreds of Eritrean government supporters and opponents have clashed with each other and with Israeli police in Tel Aviv. Saturday's confrontations lasted several hours and were the most violent in the area in recent memory. Among those hurt were 30 police officers and 3 protesters hit by police fire. Eritreans from both sides faced off with construction lumber, pieces of metal, rocks, and at least one axe, tearing through a neighborhood of South Tel Aviv where many asylum seekers live. Protesters smashed shop windows and police cars, and blood spatter was seen on sidewalks. Police say both sides had permits for rival events Saturday, but broke a promise to stay away from each other. Young students who were hit hardest by the pandemic are entering the upper grades of elementary school. Many will need extra reading support that schools aren't used to providing for older children. The students who were just starting school when the world shut down in 2020 showed some of the most alarming delays in their ability to read. To help them catch up, schools deployed a wide range of strategies. And among some incoming fourth graders, there are encouraging signs of gains. But now that they're big kids, will they get the same help? Experts say few upper-grade teachers know how to build foundational reading skills. A group of friends and neighbors meets for a weekly meal, choosing from a special menu of nutritious foods paid for by social programs meant to keep older adults eating healthy. If you're imagining people gathering for lunch in a senior center, think again. In some states, programs that give struggling restaurants some of the federal and state money set aside to feed seniors have grown in popularity. The restaurants can provide balanced meals with more choices, flexible timing, and a judgment-free setting that can help seniors get together to chat and stem loneliness. If Shohei Ohtani has a second Tommy John surgery, it's possible his recovery might be more difficult than the first, but not a given. Ohtani tore the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow while pitching on August 26th, according to Los Angeles Angels. General Manager Perry Minasian, the two-way star, continues to bat as a designated hitter, but won't pitch again this year, while considering his medical options. Now, 29, Ohtani had Tommy John surgery. On October 1st, 2018, he returned to the Angels as a batter the following May and to the mound in July 2020. India has launched its first space mission to study the Sun, less than 2 weeks after a successful uncrewed landing near the South Pole region of the Moon. The Aditya L-1 spacecraft took off Saturday on board a satellite launch vehicle from the Space Center in southern India on a mission to study the Sun from a point that's nearly 1 million miles from Earth. The Indian Space Research Organization says the spacecraft is equipped to study the Sun's corona, chromosphere, photosphere, and solar wind. India recently became the first country to land a spacecraft near the Moon's south pole, which scientists believe could hold vital reserves of frozen water. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.